start with... Let me start with actually drawing her. Fair warning though, it's gonna look like crap because I'm using the computer, not my phone. Oh god, that's horrible. So, fuck, she looks like a giant potato. Okay, that kind of helps. So, Daisy. Daisy is 13, was a 13-year-old me. Let's just start there. Originally a 13-year-old me. Very, very much weird. Is there an undo tool? I don't see one. Anyway, Daisy. She was a 13-year-old me character. She was supposed to just be a little goofball, and with what I thought, clearly incorrectly. She was that her little running gag with my ex's characters was that if any of them tried to touch her, she would bite them. And clearly I figured wrong, because that was less of a running gag and more of something that would just add to his list of things that would cause her, that would just kind of add to how much it actually hurt when she actually got defaced. Let me pause what I'm listening to. So we have Daisy, right? This is gonna look so awful in the recording if I go back and see that it did catch it. Brushes. Okay, let me go through my brushes. Is that any better? I guess it is. It'll have to do. So, back to Daisy. I bent over backwards for 2 days trying to make her. Because I wanted her to be a Fox character that 13-year-old me could relate to. if she was her own person. She was supposed to help me grow a spine. And a certain someone didn't like that. He didn't like that she would bite his characters because he was attempting to do something gross. And he couldn't really stand that she existed. So what was his solution? Well, it was to draw over her. In the dumbest way possible, by giving her a puffy dress, very short skirt, oversized dildo cattail thing, and bows everywhere. Now, I can't exactly recreate the dress, but I know it had to have been stupid. He also turned her into a cat when she's actually a wolf. And in doing so, he just kind of tore her apart. And served her back up with the question, this is your style, right? This is more your style, right? Essentially leaving me with this fake thing that wasn't Daisy. That was supposedly Daisy, but wearing her skin. He just kind of tore her apart. He also tried to turn her brother into a drug addict for some reason because he wanted to ship him with Husker. Which is weird because canonically Husker is like 37. Except he's also decades old. And Viren is like in his 20s. At the time I made him, he was like about to enter his 20s. He was 19. So this changed his being annoyed and disgusted by her to being happy with the declawed version that he that he had made. Not really stopping to consider my thoughts on this. And it took him, and the fucked up part, it took him 60 seconds to do it. 60 seconds to undo, 2 days? What 2 days had done. What took me 2 days to make was undone in 60 seconds. So obviously, fuck this guy. This just kind of caused me to break down, and I didn't really talk to anyone. I didn't go back into that call. Because I was just broken. That looks hideous. Hold on, let me fix it. This just sort of broke me. I didn't go back. I didn't go back into the call, and I wanted to stay out of it, and I wanted to stay out of them for as long as I could, for as long as it took for him to completely forget I existed or something, for everyone in there to have completely forgotten that I existed, because I was convinced that I wasn't worth their time or energy. But someone else actually had convinced me that, hey, we're kind of, it might not be him that's worried about you, but the rest of us, we are. Could you come back? And that someone was Ace. He was the only one who reached out to check on me, because genuinely he was worried. Because I don't just go out of calls without telling people, especially if I like them. Because I want them to know that, hey, I'm safe. I'm just going to here, and here. I'll be back when I can. Especially if it's somewhere that just takes me like a couple hours or minutes to get back from. I just want them to know, hey, I love you. I'm going here. I might not be back for a while, so just have fun. So have fun without me. I'll be back when I'm back. Because that's what you do. That's what you do for a healthy relationship. You communicate. Communication's important. It's just that he didn't understand that. He thought obedience was. He thought control and isolation were. Which was what he had done to me. I was essentially isolated from a lot of people I wanted to talk to, but couldn't really, because what if because, oh, what if he needed me? What if I was slowly killing him? So what if I was slowly hurting him? What if he was going through something and he needed me? What if he's thinking about hurting himself? I need to be there to stop it. This is not a sign of a healthy relationship. Your partners shouldn't make you think that they need you 24/7, or that you need to be alone with them 24/7. So even though I didn't want to go back in there, Ace told me that I probably should, but that I don't have to talk. Not if I don't want to. So for as upset and broken as I was, I did go back in, but it took me an entire day before I even said anything. Before I actually went back in the next day. Because this unbelievable asshole had destroyed 2 days of work. Because this fucking dick, this absolute artard, destroyed something that I had worked tirelessly on for 2 days straight. So, of course, naturally, I hated him. I didn't know it then, but I'm pretty sure that's because I had buried it deep down under all the what ifs that I kept asking myself because I was scared. Scared of thinking that if he died, his death would be on my hands because I was the last person he talked to. And that could have been his plan. But then again, years later, I found out that when he did try, he was doing it all wrong. So at this point, it was like day 2 of what should have been Daisy's life. Of me getting to flesh out her character. It was horrible. Because I had spent so much time on this thing, this little 13-year-old character had already been essentially killed off. And there was nothing I could have done. Because it only took him 60 seconds to kill her. While this while this pompous dickwad just sat there like nothing was wrong. And usually I don't say shit like pompous, because usually that's reserved for characters who are actually arrogant. But you know, he was positive that I wouldn't care, and preferred his version over the one I made. Because he's a damn window licker. Because no, I did care. I did care, and I still do. It hurt him more than he'll ever realize. To have watched something that I made get defaced like that. You don't deface an artist's work and expect them to not be hurt. They're going to be hurt. Because they spent time and energy on that thing. On the very thing you just destroyed. It will never not upset me that he ended up outliving so many good people. He outlived saints. At least the saints in my life. I will get into that in a different story. This is about Daisy. This is about Daisy. The one he shouldn't have touched. He really shouldn't have done that. Because for as much as he may never realize it, I did care. Because her and Viren are siblings, and they were both pieces of vent art. They were both born of vent art. He knew what I was going through. He knew what was hurting me. He just didn't care. Again, the only one who did care was Ace. Because he was the only one who realistically paid attention and actively did what it and still to this day actively doesn't hurt me. He tried, truth be told, he actually preserved the image. He actually preserved the image of Daisy and kept it. When I didn't. because of how heartbroken I was. Because he knew that I would I would forget what happened. Because I have a very screwy brain. Not everything up there is all there. So eventually my mind repressed the incident. Repressed the heartbreak. Or at the very least tried to bury it alive. But it couldn't. It couldn't repress how... The one thing it couldn't repress was how I felt. I at least filled in the gaps. Because Ace was able to help me was able to actually remember everything. He was able to remember things when I couldn't. It's not because I didn't care. It's because of the amount of brain surgeries I've had. And all the seizures I had when I was little. They've done enough to my head. Which is why I'm actually pretty cautious about what I do and do not watch. And whenever I join a server, it's why I mention, like, if there's an intro channel, I'll pop in there and say, hey, I'm epileptic. Because that's not something you leave out. But back to Daisy. So, little did I know that Ace actually had a plan. Remember when I said he preserved the image of Daisy that I had drawn when I didn't because I had actually deleted it? Well, I think I deleted it. I just know that I can't find it. Maybe I drew it on paper or something, and I'm just not looking for and I just can't find the sketchbook. I don't know. Either way, I've lost the original image. But Ace was able to save it. So by the time I had forgotten all about her, and so had he. By the time that happened, Ace was already working on something behind the scenes in VR chat, which came as a surprise to me. And it was a surprise I'll never forget. It was a surprise I'll never Don't move the thing! Because what it was Daisy. As she was drawn. As she had originally been drawn. as she was always meant to be. Not as some weird cat thing. Just Daisy. Daisy was back. And my broken heart was able to heal. He showed me that he actually showed me this recently. That yes, she was back and she was okay. He remembered her for who she really was. Not for the sexualized deviant that creature made. Because that was never realistically my vision of Daisy. Daisy was a tomboy. Always has been. Viren knows this. Ivy knows this. Ace knew it. I knew it. And I will never not be grateful for the day that he had actually saved the image and had made a VR and had made her a VR model. Daisy's story was one of quick tragedy. She lived for a day, then was very quickly killed. Right in front of me. And never, and... You want it, baby? Sorry about that, my cat came in. There will never not be a day I'm not grateful for what Ace did. Crap, what did I just do? and there will never not be a day I don't where I don't thank that where I don't thank Ace for anything. For having saved Daisy's original image because I had lost it. I will finish this off screen and it'll be the thumbnail. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.